Wylie Bulldog Baseball returns. With me, a talented co-commentator who's a fan of the Cincinnati Reds, Taylor Waddell. Taylor, what are you thinking about this one, fella?
I think it ought to be a good game. It's a district game, Wylie versus A High. A lot of good talent on both sides of the field to see who has to come out on top on this one.
Absolutely, and as we see the Abilene High Eagles taking a little bit of infield here, we have to consider that both of these teams are absolute powerhouses. Both of them are exceptionally highly ranked, especially in 5A at their size, but even in general in the entire state of Texas amongst all the teams. This is a high-powered matchup between two exceptionally talented schools, so I'm very excited to see this one kick off.
As am I. I think it really ought to be an exciting game. Probably a nail-biter, maybe some runs scored pretty late in the game. Don't feel like it's going to be a blowout here.
Yeah, I also expect it to be close. If you look at Wylie's district, there are a plethora of very talented teams there. Lubbock, Monterey, the Plainsmen, who we saw just a few brief days ago in a classic game, the first game that was streamed this season. There are also teams like Abilene High that we have out there now. And then famously Lubbock Cooper, who's also exceptionally good. So this is going to be a great matchup, and this is going to be a very interesting one to boot. We're going to come back in a few minutes whenever the action kicks off. We're looking at a 6:30 start time here, so about 10 minutes. We're going to hit you guys with some ads, and you're going to get to enjoy some of the nice wide shot warm-up after that. So this is Wylie Bulldogs Baseball, powered by Taylor Electric.
At Taylor Electric Cooperative, we are more than just the services we provide. For generations, we have been the link that has connected members to our local community. From those who remember when the lights were first turned on to those who rely daily on our high-speed fiber internet, we are here to make certain that those connections never dim. Because we understand that the most important connection we will ever make is the one we make together. At Taylor Electric, we have provided generations with services for living and connections for life.
At Borland Sobin & Partners, we're in our third decade of providing high-quality, affordable dental care in Abilene and the Big Country. Our family-friendly clinic offers comprehensive dental care for adults and children. Anything from hygiene and preventative care to cosmetic dentistry and dental implants. And don't worry, we do emergency services too. Our team of professionals understands the latest dental techniques and technology and welcome your questions as we develop the perfect treatment plan for you. And best of all, we offer same-day appointments if you're in pain. So schedule your appointment today, and we'll see you soon.
When it comes to finding the right vehicle for you, there's no better place than Lawrence Hall in Abilene. For over 34 years, Lawrence Hall in Abilene has been the place to find the best from Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC. And that is still true today. Great products and great service too. So the next time you need a new car, truck, or SUV, come see us or shop 24/7 at LawrenceHallAbileneOnline.com. Voted Abilene's best new car dealer for over 28 years by you, our customers.
When First Financial Bank opened its doors in 1890, a relationship between a local community bank and a state was born. For more than 130 years, First Financial has grown alongside you, your family, your business, all while putting your goals first. From the ports to the plains. First Financial Bank, Weir, Texas.
Wylie Bulldog Baseball returns. We're about to get into the player introductions here. Earlier in the broadcast, we spoke at length about the power of the district and the incredibly deep nature of the district. And one thing that you have to consider between these two powerhouses is that they have this sort of inner city rivalry. Both of these teams really want this game on a personal level. So we can see the intelligent skipper there, Grant Martin, walking to home plate, handing off his lineup card, and both of the teams in sort of their pregame huddles getting ready for the action here. And as the players are about to be introduced, Taylor, I just wanted to get your I wanted to get your thoughts on the on AHI's team. They're a very highly ranked, dangerous team. Like, what are your thoughts on them in general?
I think AI has a lot of good talent on them. I think that they're a really good team for what they're worth and really good with their division and their records and such, and think they'll definitely put up a fight for this one.
Totally agree. I think that this is going to be a great game, and we are getting very close to the introductions in the Star Spangled Banner here, and we are going to make sure to get you guys that as soon as it starts to occur, and we are going to continue to observe this brilliant game. And it looks like Coach Martin talking to the umps a little bit here. And we will be back when intros start, fellas. Stay tuned.
To a great night of baseball between Abilene High and your home team, Wylie Bulldogs. First, with your introductions for the visiting Abilene High Eagles. Left field, Damian Martinez. Shortstop, Brady Bennett. Center field, Beckham Paul. First, Trey Simpson. On the mound today, pitcher Jamison Castell. Right field, Kason Kilmer. Third base, George Ferguson.
The Jamison Castone will get the start here for A-High.
John Miles Wagstaff. At second, Xavier De La Cruz. And batting DH is Camp Churchill. Now, for your Wylie Bulldogs, playing center field, Braden Regala. Shortstop, Colby Garrett. On the bump tonight, Ty Briscoe. Playing first base, Colin Bruni. Backstop tonight, Cooper Jones. Right field, Jace Tomlin. Playing second, Brady Gay. At third tonight, Brady Clark. And playing left field, Dylan Regala. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to stand for our national anthem.
And we're going to hear the anthem here.
Play ball.
So we hear the two best words in the English language, play ball. And obviously this is a Wylie home game. So A High is going to come out with the bats here. The big lefty, Ty Briscoe, getting the start. And he's a very hard thrower. He's known to get the ball up there at upwards of 90 miles an hour, which of course is sort of the gold standard for high school.
I think it's really good that he's able to pitch that fast. Throwing up to the 90s is really good. You're able to fake out a few of your players. Definitely some intimidation with how hard the ball's going to be hitting the catcher's glove.
Oh, for sure. And I sort of think about the ability for his off-speed pitches to cause variance with that fastball. We'll see how good his control is, and we'll also see which sort of breaking pitches he offers, because if you're getting it up there at over 90 in high school, if you have a devastating secondary pitch, that's something that can absolutely destroy your opponent. So I'm incredibly excited to see the lefty sling it today.
Oh, definitely. Ty Briscoe, to my knowledge, Oklahoma State commit, went in as a freshman, committed to him, and definitely can see why. He has some pretty good talent on his side, and it'll be a great day to see him pitch today. Let's hope he can keep A-High's bats silent.
Absolutely. And as we are just about to enter spring break, this will be the last broadcast until the week after the break. So we're excited to bring you this rivalry game. Also worth noting, we are aware of the fact that the live broadcast is laggy. A VoD will be uploaded after the game concludes that we're recording locally that will be bereft of lag. It is something we are aware of. It's something that has been formally addressed and sent up the chain of command. And it's not something we're going to harp on throughout the night. We know it's laggy. But don't worry, that great VOD's coming up as soon as this one ends, regardless of the result. And as AC/DC blares, and we hear the glorious, glorious riffs of Angus Young, we have to consider that Ty Briscoe here, looking to pick up a dub against a district opponent. The ball slung over to second base, and we are just about to get underway as the Wylie Bulldogs are going to take on the Abilene High Eagles.
Little technical difficulties on the throw there. Hit him in the head.
Yeah, they couldn't quite get it in, but there it is.
Leading up Abilene High, Damian Martinez.
Damian Martinez going to lead off here for Abilene High.
See this first delivery.
Yeah, lefty versus lefty. Just outside.
Nearly missed on that one, probably trying to get him to bite, and he didn't go for it.
Yep. Briscoe comes set. Fires a heater upstairs, 2-0 count.
It's a nice eye on Martinez there, making sure he doesn't swing at any pitches he doesn't want.
Yep, getting ahead early in the count here. Another heater misses away, so it'll be interesting to see if he has the take sign on here.
Definitely see if he's going to try and go for a hit or if he's going to take ball forward in first base.
Yeah, whenever a pitcher starts out 3-0, he shows bunt, probably a feint, pulls away, and that was something that Lubbock Monterey would do a lot. They would show a bunt to try to disrupt the timing of the pitcher, and a lot of pitchers are looking off to other places whenever they're in the early parts of the delivery and don't actually look home until they're about to throw, and if a guy is showing bunt, it can throw off your release point, and we saw the ball sail well outside for the 4-pitch walk as timeout is called here.
Yeah, he really tried to get him to chase him on those first set of pitches. Fortunately, it didn't pay off for him, and now there's a runner on first.
Yeah, and Briscoe, the lefty, will be able to hold that runner on more closely than a righty. A nice pitch there is called a strike.
Yeah, good pitch to him. He didn't take. Let's see what he does for the second one.
Yep. Clark fires. Oh, and it drills him.
Yeah, unfortunate for him there. Nicked him a little bit, and that's going to put 2 runners on.
Yeah, and very obviously a mistake there. No intention at all as he misses in the same spot that he missed with the first 4 balls. So now the third place hitter for the Abilene High Eagles is up. A dangerous thumper and a right-handed hitter. No outs, 2 men on here for Briscoe. So right out the gate, the pitcher experiencing a little bit of control issues on this cold night.
Definitely in a bit of a pickle here. 2 players on, no outs. Chases for that one, doesn't quite get it, strike 1.
A great pitch and an important pitch to boot. The lefty comes set. Takes a glance back. Fires the pitch, heater down the middle. The batter can't connect with it, 0-2 count.
Yeah, he went for that one again. He's able to fool him out, get that second strike, getting him to chase it, and he's just not getting a hold of it.
Yep. Briscoe looks in for the sign. Catcher setting up outside. Off-speed pitch. Punches him out. Little backdoor slide piece there, it looked like.
Yeah, definitely. There's a good strikeout and a much-needed out for him. Still 2 runners on, 1 out, but definitely a step in the right direction after having those 2 runners get on bases.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me is we saw 3 perfect pitches control-wise. So it looks as though he's sort of found his control. Control is weird if you're a pitcher, man. It can desert you and never come back, but you can find it just as easily sometimes as Briscoe comes, sets, and slings it home. Heater away there is going to get a swing and a miss. So it seems as though he's found his rhythm, Taylor.
Makes him, yeah, definitely. Makes him chase for it again, and he swings and misses. Some pitchers definitely have the thing with control to where they need someone on to get the ball, get delivered a little better there.
Yep. Fires, and it's called a strike. The ump here with a deliberate call, so a little difficult to instantly call the balls and strikes. But with an 0-2 count here, Briscoe really showing off his momentum.
Definitely, and he hopes for this third strike to be called, get 2 outs. That one's low, going to be ball 1.
Yep. That's a really good pitch on 0-2 there because the down and in nature of that pitch means that if he hits it, it's probably going to be right into the ground.
Yeah, definitely a nice pitch, and he just tried to get him to chase for it, and he wasn't buying it.
Absolutely. Briscoe checks the runners. And they're going. The catcher slings it to third, and it's not in time.
Yeah, runner safe. Just narrowly missed it there. It is 2 outs, man on second and third, but 1 more out, and they're able to get out of this sticky situation they put themselves in.
Yep, and the double steal makes it where a solid base hit here can potentially score 2 runs.
Definitely really putting some pressure on Ty, see if he can deliver.
Yep. Briscoe fires. Heater up. It's called a ball.
Yeah, just a little bit inside there. It's pretty close.
Solid pitch. Briscoe slings it. Heater upstairs gets the check swing strike call. 1-1 count.
Just went a little too far on that check swing, and he probably knew it there. They got him called strike on him. Counts tied up 1-1.
And Briscoe comes set at the belt. Either way.
Nice one straight down the middle. Got him looking.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see if he goes for that backdoor breaking ball again. I think that's a curve, not a slider. As we get to see more of him pitch, that will become more obvious. But I would expect a breaking pitch here on a 1-2 count. 2 men on, 2 outs. Big moment here in the game in the first. Heater gets him.
Yeah.
Beautiful
nice.
pitch there.
Yeah, definitely. Right down Broadway. Got him looking.
Yep.
And that's a much needed out for a good situation. It's going to bring Wylie's bats on, see if they can make some out.
Absolutely beautiful play there. We're going to send it to commercial break. This is Wylie Bulldog Baseball, powered by Taylor Electric.
Whether an organized team sport or walk around your neighborhood, Hendrick Clinic Bone and Joint, Action Sports Medicine, and Action Physical Therapy understand the importance of keeping your family moving. From diagnosis to recovery, our team of physicians, orthopedic surgeons, and physical therapists provide personalized care for sports injuries, joint pain, and more. With state-of-the-art technology and more than 40 years of experience, our team will get you back to what keeps you moving.
Searching for an internet provider for your home or business? Westex Connect is celebrating 20 years of providing fast, reliable wireless internet with products and services to meet the needs of both residential and business class. Westex Connect offers packages designed to meet your budget, so you can stream all your favorite music, movies, and shows and play the hottest games with fast, reliable in-home Wi-Fi. And Westex Connect is local, just a phone call away. Call 325-673-1930 or log on to WTConnect.com.
Ever wonder how football is like real estate?
The huddle. We call this the pregame, where we meet to explain the process. The fumble. This is why you hire us, so you don't fumble across horrible service. The visiting team. It's negotiating time. The blitz. We blast your home to over 300 sites and have a detailed marketing plan. And finally, the end zone celebration, aka closing day and the big win. So when you know someone looking to get in the game, send them our way. The Brandy Smith team at RE/MAX has been on top of our game since 2008, thanks to all our amazing past clients and referrals.
Wylie Bulldog Baseball returns. The Abilene High Eagles about to start their first inning on defense. And the Bulldogs had an interesting first inning in the sense that they got into a little bit of trouble with a walk and a hit by pitch, but the big lefty, Ty Briscoe, found his control and was able to escape the inning without any damage despite a successful double steal. So, Taylor, what do you expect to see from Braden Regala, the leadoff hitter, and the Bulldogs coming up here in the bottom of the first?
He's a big guy for power, and I definitely see him. If he gets a hold of that ball, it's going to get him base hit, maybe even a double.
Yeah, I would expect Regala to get one down in the gap here. He's one of the Bulldogs' heaviest hitters.
Bulldogs, center fielder, Braden Regala.
The ACU commit adjusts his gloves. The Bulldogs in their home whites, like Turtle from Entourage. And Regala, the leadoff hitter, steps up to the plate. The offensive district, a player of the year last year in football as a junior. The senior peers in. And a strike gets called, an outside pitch there. And this is a pitcher that appears to be coming right over the top and throwing two-seamers. I think this is a sinker pitcher based on his release point and his warm-up. It'll be interesting to see how that develops as he kicks and fires. And it appears to be another two-seamer fading arm side.
Definitely really good pitches there. He's able to catch him looking twice. Just needs a really good delivery. It's getting where it needs to be. Beautiful pitches.
Yep. Heater upstairs misses.
Yeah, that's one's a little high. It's going to make ball one. Be behind in the count. Probably hoping to get ahead here.
I'm set. Here's the delivery. And it misses inside.
Yeah, almost got him there. Luckily, he was able to get away in time. Hugged pretty close to his body, but he was able to move. Count's tied up 2-2. See what he can do here.
Comes set, fires. And there's that two-seamer outside that Regala got strikes 1 and 2 called on, and he tries to defend that pitch and strikes out.
Got him to chase that one, and that was a nice strikeout by a High's pitcher. Really good one there.
And a curveball there slips out of his hand and buzzes the tower of the batter, who easily ducks out of the way.
Yeah, almost hit by pitch there. Wouldn't want that. Luckily, he was able to dodge that one out of the way, and we look for pitch number 2.
Fastball away, struck to right field, although it's slinking out of play, and it does go foul over the fence.
Got a little piece of that one. Unfortunately, just couldn't pull it in.
Yep. The righty coming set, fires. And that one a bit low, gets called a ball.
Yeah, a bit low, just a bit inside. It's going to put him ahead of the count. 2 balls, 1 strike. And he's in a good little spot in here. He's ahead. Let's see the delivery.
Yeah, two-seamer in, gets smacked to right field. The right fielder ranging over, and it drops.
Can't get there in time. 2 were chasing for it. Dropped in the middle of him. Dropped twice, but he stays on first.
Next pitcher, Ty Briscoe.
And the pitcher, Ty Briscoe, is going to come up to bat here.
Definitely a power guy. Probably looking to advance the runner on first. Probably put him in scoring position if he can.
Yeah, looking to help his own cause here is Briscoe. Pickoff attempt there. Runner back easily.
Maybe he's just trying to get in his head a little bit, show him that he sees him.
Yep. Doesn't want him to just have carte blanche. Fires the two-seamer away. The catcher threatening a back pick.
Yeah, that one a bit low there. Almost got away from him. Luckily, he's able to scoop it up in time. Runner didn't try and go for it, so there's a smart play. Able to keep 1 out on the board. Line a second one, though.
Pitcher coming set. Fires another two-seamer away that gets called a ball.
That one just a bit outside for him. Was able to have a good eye there, make sure to not take that one, and he's ahead in the count 2-0.
Peeks over at the runner. And a ball gets fouled back.
Got a little chunk of that one, but sent it back into foul territory. So that puts him at 2-1 in the count, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the pitcher's going to lean towards here for his next pitch.
Yeah, honestly, I would expect a two-seamer away with the runner on first.
Definitely try and get him to bite at something. That'll be an easy out.
Two-seamer up, misses, and a wild pitch.
Strike 2, or not strike 2, my bad. Ball went back, couldn't get to, clipped off catcher's glove, went back, and runner was able to advance safely to second, and they're going to take a little bit to talk to the pitcher, let him know, take it easy.
Yeah, and that's a tough spot when you're a guy who specializes in the two-seam fastball, basically the sinker. You're trying to get him to make ground ball contact. And when that guy's on first, you can pepper the zone with sinkers, and the catcher might have went out to him and said, look, with first base open and 3 balls, do not give him a pitch to hit here. Bury a sinker and go from there. If he walks, he walks. We'll have runners on first and second.
He's ahead in the count here, 3-1. Let's see what its delivery is.
Two-seamer there. Gets a swing and a miss. The count will go full.
Full count here, really able to keep him on his toes here. Got him to swing at that one and missed it. Let's see what this full count pitch, try and tuck him away.
Shakes off his catcher, comes set, and time gets called.
Interesting call there.
I think Briscoe's just adjusting his gloves a bit.
Yeah, a little chilly tonight.
It really is. It was a rainy, dreary day that turned into a chilly evening, even here in March. Full count here with 1 out, 0-0. Two-seamer outside misses. Briscoe will take his walk.
Smart there, good eye by him. Able to take a free base, puts 2 people on, 1 out. Man on first and second. And next battle, probably try and look here to send someone in to either third or home.
And we see Ty Briscoe here, the pitcher, is going to get an opportunity to rest on the bench while he gets some fresh wheels out there. And this is intelligent, not just from a base running perspective, having that runner on first have better speed, but it's also great to get your pitcher on the bench in a jacket, let him stay warm. Don't let him languish out there on first base if you don't have to. Briscoe right now conserving his energy and staying warm. You love to see it. Two-seamer away there, misses.
Yeah, ball 1 called. Definitely a smart play to bring in a pinch runner. You want to keep your pitcher well rested even when he goes into batting. Make sure he doesn't stay out there too long or get cold and still has that momentum working for him.
Yep. Two-seamer away, clips the corner.
Yeah, just was able to hug the strike box on that one. Was able to get a nice strike in, tie up, count 1-1.
Two-seamer away there, a wild pitch.
Goes off his glove, runners advance.
Yep, runners on second and third now. And again, the double play no longer a possibility, so that's rough. Also, any well-struck ball here all of a sudden scores 2. So the second wild pitch of the inning is a substantial and consequential one.
Yeah, this really changes for what the batter wants to do in his mind. He could try and go for a sac fly or something of the rather, or try and get a hit and get himself on base and runners in.
Yeah, you have a lot more options here if you're the hitter. Strike inside there. Good pitch.
And good pitch by is able to get a strike and tie up count 2-2. A high here in a close to a similar situation Wylie was in.
Two-seamer away, stroke to left field. The left fielder can't make the play as it just bounces in front of him. And the second Wylie runner is going to come home as the throw is lollipopped up the third base line. A nice double there for the Wylie Bulldogs, who cruise them a 2-0 advantage.
Definitely a nice hit there. I was able to get a double out of that one. Outfielder just couldn't get there in time, dove for it and missed it. Really good play by him, able to get 2 runners in for his team, put him up on the board early.
Absolutely.
Next up, catcher Cooper Jones.
The catcher, Cooper Jones, is going to get a shot here with runners in scoring position. And if you recall, the Lubbock-Monterey game opened in a somewhat similar fashion, where Wylie got a couple runs early and then was protecting that lead for the majority of the game. We'll see if they can sort of pour it on early here, as opposed to holding a 2-run lead for the majority of the game. Of course, that Lubbock-Monterey game came down to the last play as the Bulldogs almost lost that lead. Off-speed pitch, misses high, ball 1.
It's nice getting ahead of count. Definitely be interesting to see if they try and play a little more conservative or try and tack on another run with that man on second.
Wylie catcher looking out at the pitcher. Pitcher looks back, fires a two-seamer that gets fouled off for strike 2.
That'll help the pitcher out a little bit, tie up count, and put the batter in a little bit more of an interesting situation.
Pitcher comes set here. Two-seamer cleaves the middle of the plate for strike 2.
Nice delivery there. Got it right down the middle and got him looking. Two great things for a pitcher. One of them desired by a batter, and that's a pitch down the middle.
Yep, and that one locked him up there. The 1-2 count here with one out, giving the advantage to the pitcher. Slings a breaking pitch outside that misses.
That'll tie up count. Definitely tried to get him to chase that one, put another K on the board, but just couldn't get him.
Yeah, I think that pitch sets up for the two-seamer here. Two-seamer there, fouled off. Might have been a breaking pitch, actually, as it looked like it was coming in a little slower. Change of pace, perhaps, gets fouled off.
Looked like that one just got away from him a little bit, thought he had it, and it mixed him up a little bit once it made a tiny little bit of contact.
Heater upstairs, gets the strikeout. Good pitch from the A-high pitcher. 2 outs.
Nice swing and a miss. Definitely gives A-high a little more breathing room. Still a man on second for scoring position, and a new batter comes up. Let's see what he can do here.
Absolutely. Wylie looking to add on to this lead. A-high looking to escape with just the 2-run deficit. The Wylie lefty hugging the plate here. Calls time. Gets it. Something in his eye, I think. He'll take a step back.
Give him a little breather here. Probably decide a little bit more on that pitch he wants to take for first delivery to the new batter.
Heater away there. Gets called a strike.
Nice one. Hugging the outside and was able to get him on that one. That sets up for strike 1. Looking here for strike 2.
Well, and that's where the pitcher wants to live. The pitcher wants to live on that outside corner, continuously go away and away and away with the two-seamer to try to induce weak contact and prevent his opponents from pulling anything. As an identical pitch occurs, and you see the build order right there, and a bounce throw to the shortstop will allow another Wylie run to score, as that was a perfectly induced ground ball, but the shortstop had a throw that was a touch low there that the first baseman couldn't scoop. The error results in an unearned run for Wylie.
Definitely a real tough one there. Puts a guy on second, something that pitcher definitely didn't want. Could have been an easy ground out there, but shortstop unfortunately missed it for his team, and that's going to bring in another run and put another guy on second.
Yeah, and that was a tough play in the sense that it was sort of bouncing away from him a little bit. So the pitcher comes set here. Breaking pitch there. Unable to find the handle on that pitch early on. That was the pitch that almost hit the second place hitter in the head. That overhand curveball is a pitch that if it's really cold, you can really struggle to get the grip on.
Definitely got him up high there. Try and bring it back down a little bit. See if he can get a strike on the board.
Yep, heater upstairs. Gets called a strike after a swing and a miss.
Big swing and a miss. Carried him outside the box. Able to tie up the count 1-1.
Yep, pretty pitch there. Another heater upstairs, induces a swing.
That one hugs inside towards the batter. Nice pitch, puts him behind and count 2-1. Or 1-2.
Yeah, that's where you want to put the two seamers. You want to have them riding inside on the hands, righty versus righty, and then stay away from the lefties like we saw in the opening at bat to Regala. And as this inning drags on, Abilene High really cannot afford to allow this fourth run to score. A 4-0 deficit after one inning is rather crushing.
Definitely would be a tough one to come back from and a real challenge for them.
And as another wild pitch occurs, Wylie will take the extra base. So now a little bleeder scores the run.
Definitely a little bloop, able to squeeze a gap, and he can bring in that last run. Catcher having just a little bit of trouble holding on to these pitches. See if he can get it together here and try and get this guy out.
Yep. He'll check the guy at third. Sling a two-seamer on the outside corner and get strike three. So Wylie puts up 3 runs in that inning. Great job by them. And we are going to go to commercial break. We'll be back with the second inning soon. This is Wylie Bulldog Baseball, powered by Taylor Electric.
The hunger to win is fueled by a chance to compete and the thrill of the action. The cheers from the crowd energize our team and push them on to victory. Whether it's the pre-game excitement of tailgating or the post-game euphoria of winning celebrations, Market Street always brings an A-game to your party. From kickoff to tip-off and the final buzzer to the last out, Market Street is proud to feed the competitive spirit.
Wylie Bulldog Baseball returns. The Wylie Bulldogs up 2-0 in the top of the second inning. And Ty Briscoe, the lefty, had some control problems early on, but found his rhythm. And after a long bottom of the first, he is going to be able to do his thing here in the second.
Definitely almost got really ugly there for A High in the bottom of the first. Luckily able to escape it with not too much damage done to him, but definitely a tough 3-0 deficit to recover from, as the first one delivered here is a strike.
Yeah, and a great pitch from him.
Ball's close, nearly nicked him there, luckily able to get away in time, ties up count 1-1.
Yeah. Beautiful pitch there low. Gets a strike call.
Check swing just went out a little bit too far. Got him to put another strike up there. That puts him behind in count 1-2.
Briscoe sets, fires. Inside strike, burns him down. Exceptional pitch from the big lefty for an opening inning strikeout.
Definitely a nice pitch there. Got him looking. Puts one out on the board. Step closer to putting the A-High bats away in this inning.
Yep. Briscoe comes set. Fires it. Heater away, misses, and the good thing that net was there. That was coming right at your midsection, Taylor. That missed ball.
Good thing there was a net here.
Would have been like one of those foul balls at MLB that comes into the caster booth and rattles around and shatters laptops. That thing had some heat to it.
Definitely. It would have been pretty painful for me here.
Yeah. We're right here in the blast zone. Thankful for the net. Briscoe looking sharp here despite being down 2-0. I think this is a guy who's definitively found his command, and the early game jitters were just that, jitters, as a heater is taken just upstairs there, very close pitch.
All three of the pitches he's thrown so far for this batter have been pretty close. He is ahead of the count decently, 3-0, probably looking to get a walk here. That one's going to be inside on him, make it 3-1 count. He's playing rather close up in the batter's box. Looks for the next one here. Outside.
Misses away.
Ball 4. He gets to take his base.
Yep. So Briscoe issues the walk there.
Man on first. 1 out. Not too much to worry about. Next batter steps up to the plate here, probably looking to advance the runner.
Yeah, Briscoe comes set. Fires. Heater inside. Just misses inside.
Called strike.
Oh, that was a strike.
Yeah.
A very deliberate call by the ump. Sometimes it's easy to miss as a caster.
Yeah.
Briscoe coming set. Another heater. Thrown down and in. That one definitively called the ball.
Both of those inside. Tie up the count 1-1. Really throwing at his knees here.
Yep, trying to keep the ball low and induce a ground ball. That's great strategy. And it gets laced to the third baseman who picks it up, looks at second, 1 out, and the second out is unable to be accrued as the third baseman was unable to get that ball out of his glove instantly. But an exceptional play to catch that rope and get the lead runner.
Definitely nice job for the Ahai's batter part. Got a little chunk of that one. Hit to third baseman. Unfortunately, he couldn't come up with it in time. Got one, so that puts it 2 outs. He was able to advance to first, so that'll put a man on. 2 outs as they take a little break here to discuss it a little bit before the next batter steps in.
Yep. And he calls him out at second. So a brilliant play by the skipper Martin there to go out and argue for that third out and save some bullets in the arm of his pitcher. The Wylie Bulldogs, an exceptionally talented team, but also an exceptionally coached team.
Definitely got some good talent behind him on coaching, a good skipper. Able to argue that for that one a little bit. Try and get his players off the field and ready for defense here.
Yep, and no replay needed. That one gets turned over old school style. So we're going to hit you guys with a quick ad. This is Wylie Bulldog Baseball, powered by Taylor Electric.
The best part about working with children is you really never know what you're going to get. Every day it's just a brand new experience working with them.
You see them from a baby through their teenage years, and they become a part of your life and you become a part of theirs.
My job is to make their experience really fun. I mean, we establish a good relationship, and over the years, we can kind of get rid of that fear and make them have a good time while they're here.
The most important thing when you take your child somewhere is for them to feel loved and for them to feel safe, and I love that we're able to offer both of those things here at Abilene Pediatrics.
At Wylie ISD, our career and technical education courses are designed to provide academic challenges for students. To us, it is vital for our students to earn important certifications that are recognized by industry and not only promote college readiness to further their education, but springboard students in preparation for a career in current and emerging professions. Wylie ISD, inspiring the next generation of innovators.
Wylie Bulldog Baseball returns, and the Bulldogs are playing exceptionally well as Abilene High's sinker baller takes the mound again. If you missed the first inning, you missed a lot of lag, presumably we're aware of that, and a lag-free VoD is going to be uploaded to the channel at this game's conclusion.
Third baseman, Brady Clark.
Third baseman Brady Clark is going to take a few swings here. Clark, of course, started the game that we broadcasted on Tuesday, pitched an exceptional game. He went 6 1/3 innings with two earned runs, as the guy who replaced him, lefty guys that he walked, scored. But up until that final inning was working on a complete game shutout. So Clark is going to step in. And the sinker baller from A High peers in, slings it outside corner, upstairs, misses.
Put him up in the count 1-0. So far, A High has been relatively quiet for their bats. Had that little scare in the first inning, but they're just trying to find some momentum as that one hits the turf, putting him further ahead in the count 2-0. Pitcher looks to calm down a little bit, try and get some better deliveries here and put some more strikes on the board.
Yep.
Delivered low, ball 3. Tough situation for him here. Probably looking to try and get a little bit more of a breather. Worst situation for him, he walks, gets a man on first, and looks to get rid of that second batter.
Absolutely. And the heater just misses inside, so a great walk there by the intelligent senior.
High one there.
Next for Wylie, second
Inside.
Dylan
Puts him on first. Next batter comes up. Most likely in a hit, looking to advance runner on first to second. And if he gets a really good one, maybe bring him all the way home.
Absolutely.
Checks first, tries for a pickoff attempt. Doesn't get it in time. Runner safe.
Yep, trying to keep that runner close, an important part of the high school game, because it's not like Little League where you can just really relentlessly abuse the catcher, but you do have the sort of scaling speed up to the high school level where, remember, even in pro ball, the runner thrown out percentage hovers around 25%. So it's very easy for a steal to occur, as I think that was a bunt that was popped up behind the catcher, which is interesting to me with Wylie being up 3-0, they're electing to play a little small ball here, Taylor.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him go for a bunt on that, but it was also pretty interesting to see the pitcher go for 2 pickoffs attempts. Both failed, but maybe try and attenuate that runner on first a little bit, make him not try and go for a steal for second.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting that the pickoff rule that MLB instituted this last year, which had a lot of success and I think helped the game, not part of high school. Also, the gimmick runner that the MLB instituted to significantly less success, also not a part of high school baseball. So more of a purer game here, minus the metal bats. A 0-1 count with no outs on the Wylie batter. The sinker baller steps in.
Goes for a bunt, nearly hits him, but he's able to get out in time, ties count up 1-1, and that pitcher for a third time has gone to try and pick off first. Maybe he's getting a little nervous there. Definitely trying to make sure he doesn't advance on anything unnecessary. Batter steps back into his box, looks for this 1-1 delivery.
And it's bunted down the first base line. And the first baseman takes the sure out at first, so good intelligent play and an exceptional bunt there. If you bunt a ball like that down the line, you're going to ensure that the runner advances. And that was the 9th place hitter there, Dylan Regala, and you love to see that because his incredibly talented senior brother is now in a position to drive in that runner and scoring position on second base.
Yeah, nice little sack bunt there, trickled up first baseline, almost managed to make it to first, but unfortunately just couldn't get there in time. Got that one out, puts a little less pressure on the pitcher, but it's definitely toned up due to the fact that now there's a runner on second.
Right. And that was an intelligent small ball maneuver by Martin to have his 9th place freshman hitter bunt the runner over for the top of his lineup. A fourth run here would be devastating, as a sinker is low. Remember, of course, the save situation in baseball is 3 runs or less, and even though we're very early on in this game and obviously not talking about a closer coming in anytime soon. There is a distinct difference between 3 and 4 runs. In the same way in football, there's a difference between like a 7-point deficit and a 9-point deficit. It certainly feels bigger.
Definitely, especially early here, there's a lot of things that can happen. Wylie probably looking to try and tack more runs on, which will put A-High in a pretty big pinch, and with their bats having been as quiet as they are so far, it's definitely going to be difficult for them.
Yeah, and I love to see the bunt utilized, even up 3-0. You've got no outs, you've got a freshman, and you enable him to empower his teammates and really give them somewhat of a power boost. So I love to see the small ball utilized as Regala works a 2-1 count.
Definitely Wylie making some smart and interesting plays here. It looks like that catcher's just having a bit of trouble getting a good catch for the ball. Checks runner on second, delivers, outside, popped high. That one's going to go foul. No chase, evens the count, 2-2. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Batter steps out for a little bit, and he comes back in. Runner on second, gets a small lead. Pitcher looking for the sign. Steps off. Runner will go back to second. Gets a sign, checks. Delivery. Outside hit. Bounces off shortstop glove, trickles into the outfield. He goes for home, and he has it.
Nice. The Bulldogs scoring a run off of a beautiful hit served out to left.
Definitely
No,
a great hit there. Was able to get him on base safely and almost could have been shut down, but that shortstop just couldn't get it fielded. Well, that puts in another run in. Definitely tacking it on here, 4-0. It is still early, though. A-High definitely has a chance. Now they're going to take a minute to talk to the pitcher, try and calm him down a little bit.
Yeah, and it's tough whenever you're a pitch-to-contact two-seam cat, and the other team is really talented and seeming to hit everything into a hole. Because if you're a two-seam specialist, you can't all of a sudden drop what you're doing and go to the four-seamer. You've got to stick to your build orders. You have to stick to your common, most popular pitch. And it gets to be one of those things where if your defense isn't helping you out seemingly, or if you are having a bit of control issues, you don't have the out that the strikeout pitcher does.
Definitely. Wylie's so far been eating those pitches like there's no tomorrow. Able to get good hits. Delivery. Stinked again to the shortstop. He'll
Doesn't
get there.
it's safe. Oh, it's out. Pardon me, as it was a bang-bang play called out at second base.
Definitely a nice job. Ground ball hit decently. Fortunately, not exactly what he wanted. Probably wanted to get both runners safe, but that does put a man on first with 2 outs, and it'll bring up the pitcher, Ty Briscoe, up for another try at the bats. Pitcher has a bit less pressure off of him, 2 outs, and he's probably looking here just to tuck this inning away and forget about it.
Absolutely. Checks the runner at first.
That one outside. Hugging. Gets a called strike. 0-1 count. It's definitely interesting so far seeing what the A-High pitchers dealt out for further into the game and how so far A-High's defense has been. Have to dig into his bag of tricks. That one's popped up and away.
And it falls!
It falls. He can't get there in time to the third baseman. He's safe. Ty manages to make it to first. An unfortunate, real bad thing for A-High here. Could have been an easy out, but too many people were going for it.
Yeah, tragedy strikes, and that's one of those moments where it's on that island of the pitcher mound, and frequently you don't want to have a pitcher fielding fly balls, and we see the skipper coming out, and as George Steinbrenner loved to say, it might be time for a change.
Definitely. Also, like one of my favorite managers for the Reds, Captain Hook.
Yes, Sparky Anderson, absolutely.
And he's going to talk to him, try and calm him down. definitely tough for him. Pitcher's probably feeling a little alone out there on that mound. He certainly can't do it on his own, but he feels like he has to try here.
Yeah, and it has been a tough game defensively for A-High. They had the shortstop short pass and bounced the ball to the first baseman earlier. That brutal ball falls, which is just such a bad feeling. It's so embarrassing. And if you're the pitcher and you feel like you're out there really struggling, maybe your command's not as sharp as you'd like, and every ball seeming to find a hole, when you get a can of corn pop-up 10 feet in front of home plate and it falls, it feels like when it rains, it pours.
Definitely. Wylie keeps tacking it on here. Runners on third in scoring position. Wylie could hike up their lead more and make it a 5-0 deficit. And earlier, one of the plays, rolls behind the catcher, luckily. He goes for second.
Yep.
He's make it there safely.
So the guy on third unable to advance, but the runner on first does. So with 2 outs, the double play, not really an issue, but again, we bring out the very important factor of the fact that, well, to be honest, if there is not a guy on first, there are way less forces everywhere.
Definitely. Catcher having a lot of trouble trying to hold on to that ball for A-High. And one of the earlier plays, hit in the gap. That's going to bring 2 home. Outfielder can't hold on to it. It's going to get him a nice double there. Just roll it past him. And that's another little blunder he's made earlier, the one for the diving catch, and he missed it. Pitcher definitely having a lot of pressure here, as that really hurts him for a 6-0 deficit to come back from.
Catcher Cooper Jones.
The catcher, Cooper Jones, coming on in here.
Definitely been so far really tough for this pitcher. A lot of these so far haven't been his fault, and mostly the team around him. He's had pretty decently solid pitches, and he just can't get what he's looking for.
Yep. Slings the breaking ball, which is low.
I'll go for ball 1. Runners on second. A-High really having some trouble early here. They'll definitely have to pull it together if they want to have a real contest here.
Absolutely. The pitcher checks the runner at second, and a ball misses outside. The Bulldogs ahead 6-0, as your UI indicates. Again, we are aware of the connection issues on the stream, and a clean VoD will be uploaded at the end of the game.
So far been tough for A-High. Looks to put away this inning that started out decently okay and has just gone downhill.
Yeah, both of the innings here for A-High really snowballing out of control, and there were moments where the two-seam specialists here looked in control, but Wylie was able to put it where they ain't, as the old saying goes in baseball, and the skipper Martin pulling all the right levers, the bunt, the arguing to save his starter, having to get the third out. Just a beautifully coached game from him as a ball is blasted to right field, the right fielder ranging in, catching it there for the third out. So another exceptional inning from Wylie. This is Wylie Bulldog Baseball, powered by Taylor Electric.
At Taylor Electric Cooperative, we are more than just the services we provide. For generations, we have been the link that has connected members to our local community. From those who remember when the lights were first turned on to those who rely daily on our high-speed fiber internet, we are here to make certain that those connections never dim. Because we understand that the most important connection we will ever make is the one we make together. At Taylor Electric, we have provided generations with services for living and connections for life.
At Borland Sobin & Partners, we're in our third decade of providing high-quality, affordable dental care in Abilene and the Big Country. Our family-friendly clinic offers comprehensive dental care for adults and children. Anything from hygiene and preventative care to cosmetic dentistry and dental implants. And don't worry, we do emergency services too. Our team of professionals understands the latest dental techniques and technology and welcome your questions as we develop the perfect treatment plan for you. And best of all, we offer same-day appointments if you're in pain. So schedule your appointment today, and we'll see you soon.
When it comes to finding the right vehicle for you, there's no better place than Lawrence Hall in Abilene. For over 34 years, Lawrence Hall in Abilene has been the place to find the best from Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC. And that is still true today. Great products and great service too. So the next time you need a new car, truck, or SUV, come see us or shop 24/7 at LawrenceHallAbileneOnline.com. Voted Abilene's best new car dealer for over 28 years by you, our customers.
Wylie Bulldog Baseball. It's an exceptional game from the Dogs so far. They're up 6-0 on a rainy, misty night that is occurring right before spring break starts. Wright Singleton here with the Wylie AV team. Some of my biggest hitters on the cast tonight. Colton Ace Harper, a phenom-level camera operator doing production tonight. And we have Taylor Waddell, the Reds fan, on the mic with me, and then out in the field, Darion and Logan.
Yeah, definitely. A-High's having some trouble early here. What looked to be an easy bottom of the second turned out to be a little disastrous for them and ended up being Wylie coming out on top of that one, putting up another 3 runs. First pitch is low and away, going to bring up ball 1. AI having a lot of trouble in their outfield and in their infield.
Yep, and a strike clips the outside part of the zone. And A-High's defense, I think, is the story here early, because if their defense was flawless, we're looking at a 2-0 game as opposed to 6-0.
Definitely having a little trouble on this chilly, windy night. See if they can't get something started on offense as he's ahead in the count 2-1. Here's the delivery. Low and away, it's going to make ball 3.
Yeah, and whenever you think about that pop-up, that really is the epitome of how the game has gone for A-High so far. Really nothing going right, looking out of sorts, looking as though they've traveled for hours as opposed to just across town. And a leadoff walk here is going to potentially get things started for them. A leadoff walk, absolute nightmare fuel for a coach.
Definitely. A-High with that leadoff walk, hoping to really get something started and take advantage of the runner on base. But with how quiet their bats have been so far, it'll be interesting to see if they can pull it off.
Yep.
Ty comes set. Delivery low and away, gets away from the catcher. He goes for second, dives head first, and he's able to get there in time, puts a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, and the double play out of order too, crucially, as Briscoe missed outside there with the heater.
Yeah, just got away from the catcher there. Batter steps back in box, and that's going to put a little bit more pressure on Ty as batter is ahead of the count, 1-0. Comes set, checks. Almost hits him there, but is able to squeak out away, puts him further ahead in the count, 2-0. And 2-0 is a very interesting spot to be in, both for the pitcher and the batter.
Yeah, it's a good hitter's count. And the reason you say it's interesting is because the pitcher almost has to make a decision. Do I want to get back in the count? Or if this happens and it goes 3-0 and there's first base open, a lot of schools have thought, depending on how talented the hitter are, would to be pitch around him, throw him that fourth ball, set up the double play. It can oftentimes be dangerous to try to work back from a hitter who is up 3-0 because they know that you're probably going to just try to get one over in 3-0. And here's the 3-0 count, and the heater up and in misses, just barely. So back-to-back walks here for Ty Briscoe could potentially spell trouble.
Yeah, 2 people on, no outs. They call time here, go to talk to Ty, try and calm him down a little bit. Say, hey, it's all right, we do have 2 people on, but, trust the stuff you got and hope to get these 3 outs and tuck away it here. So far, it's not been too bad for Wylie on defense. They have managed to put A-High's bats quiet for the first and second inning, but now A-High in a bit more of a striking distance to help eat away at that deficit a little with the runner on first and second. But with the talk to Ty, should be able to calm him down a little bit and hope to pull the reins back on what could maybe be a disastrous inning.
Absolutely. And we were having some Wi-Fi issues out here, but we are in a position now where the live stream should be back up and rolling. If you missed the early part of the game, Wylie went out to a very early lead. Abilene High struggled a bit with defense early, and Wylie was able to take the lead. 3 runs in the first, 3 runs in the second on this misty, dreary night. Ty Briscoe just walked a couple guys, but he has been pitching very well so far.
Went for a bunt there, got a chunk of it, but sent it backwards to foul. And it's interesting to see a bunt here. Even though there is no outs, they are just trying to advance people at this point to hopefully get them further into scoring position, but it can be pretty risky with 2 people on.
Absolutely. And at an 0-1 count here, Briscoe comes set, and he throws it down and in, almost hitting the batter.
Showed bunt again, and, well, it didn't exactly go well for the batter there. Almost nicked and got a free base, which would have loaded it, but now counts tied 1-1.
Yep. And you wonder if he's going to put the bunt down again because they are down by 6 runs. He shows bunt, and he fouls it off. You know, the school of thought with the bunt oftentimes has to do with how many runs that you're either ahead or behind by. And one of the primary schools of thought is that, okay, well, if you're down by a ton of runs or you're ahead by a ton of runs, the bunt becomes less valuable. If you're trying to squeak out the 1 run, then okay, that's when you want to go for the bunt.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see the batter there showing 3 bunts in a row. And normally pitchers don't like excessive bunt shows. It really can get in their head and just try and play more aggressive to get that batter out.
Of course, showing the bunt like that can mess with their timing. But after 2 strikes, we can see perhaps why that batter was being asked to bunt, as he looked a little overwhelmed there on that strikeout pitch. So the runners failed to advance, and Ty Briscoe, stepping off the mound a bit, examining the runners on first and second in this 6-0 affair.
Getting a little breather there, but it has put 1 out there, which poorly hit ball by A-High could lead to a double play. And tuck out A-High's bats in this.
No, they're calling a balk on him. They said that he came set and then he came up and stopped his motion. So the runner's advancing to second and third there.
Interesting call there. It is going to be tough for Wylie. Now putting 2 runners in scoring position. And a little bloop here could get away and cut that deficit 2-6.
Yep. Heater misses down and away there. And the 2 runners that walked are on base.
Really tough for him there.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, the inning begins with a couple walks, and then a balk happens, and all of a sudden these 2 guys are in striking distance as a breaking pitch misses away there.
2 tough calls that just didn't go his way. He's up in the count 2-0. Another interesting spot to be, especially now with 2 runners in scoring position and only 1 out, which could mean he could go for a sac fly and get 2 runners in.
Yep. Strike called, up and in. Great pitch.
And finally able to get a little hold of himself there and throws a pitch, puts the count at 2-1. It'll be interesting to see if he tries to make him chase for 1 or gets him with a nice little strike here. Checks on that one. Call doesn't go his way. It's going to make ball 3.
Yeah, that was a good waste pitch, even though it's now a 3-1 count. It was a good pitch in the sense that if he hits it, it's going to go right into the ground. One of those pitches you just can't really do anything with. And we're aware that you guys are having some lag issues. A clean VoD will be uploaded at the end of the game as Briscoe delivers a pitch that just misses inside. And now the bases are juiced, and a big hitter is coming up here for A-High, number 5.
It's going to be really interesting to see how Ty gets out of this. Only 1 out and bases loaded. A-High being down, but they do have a chance to cut that lead in half.
So a big moment here for Briscoe. He fires. and it's driven into deep right field, but it looks to be going foul. And it moves over into the fence corner, but the outfielder is unable to rein it in. And it was one of those weird situations where he sort of ran out of room and got near the fence.
Yeah, just couldn't get a hold of that one. It's going to leave him for one strike on, and definitely with that hit, he's looking for power to try and bring in those runners.
Briscoe here sets with the bases loaded. When it comes inside and drills him. So that'll bring in a run, the first one for A High.
And that caught a little bit of the catcher there. He's gripping his inner thigh, and that's a rough thing, especially with it's cold here. It's definitely going to make it hurt a little bit more. Good thing for A High there, get a runner in on the hit by pitch, keeps the bases loaded, which is important for them. And good hit here could bring in more runs, especially with only that one out. This inning can get a lot more interesting if it doesn't go Ty's way.
Yeah, well, and it's one of those things where, yes, the bases are loaded and things are starting to look significantly better for the A High Eagles. However, there are force at every base, and Briscoe does still have strikeout stuff. We've seen almost exclusively heaters from him this game, and I expect with the bases loaded for that to continue as he pumps one inside and doesn't get the call. Body language starting to show a bit of frustration here, as that up and inside pitch is a very difficult one to deal with, but he hasn't been able to get that call recently.
Definitely. Batter's playing close up to the plate here, which is going to force him to deal different pitches. Goes for a second one there. It's going to be a swinging strike, even count, 1-1. And especially with it being high school ball, you know, with innings not going pitcher's way, they tend to get a little frustrated and even lose a little bit of control. But it's the good ones that are able to weave it out and keep ahead of their game and manage to pull it back in.
Absolutely, as the ball is scorched foul there. And really, the old analogy is the great pitchers have short memories, right?
Definitely. It's good to have a short memory in baseball as a pitcher, especially if it's not such a great inning for them. And A High batter here behind in the count. 1-2. Bases still loaded, one out. And he'll probably look to get a hold of the ball here, drive in runs. Notice that the outfield is playing a little bit more in. Ideally, Wylie would probably try and want to set up a double play here to help give him a little more leverage and tuck away the inning. That one's high, ties count 2-2.
Yeah, big pitch here. You do not want to go to 3-2 with the bases loaded. This is one of those things where if you walk another guy, you've walked so many guys in an inning where the skip could potentially have to come get you. So big pitch here, and it misses upstairs. So this is without a doubt one of the most crucial pitches in the bottom half of the inning for Wylie. Now what you need to understand here is in this crucial 3-2 count, the pitcher is almost certain to go to his fastball. He's been about 90% fastball regardless, and with the bases juiced here, there's no way he'll go off speed. And the batter knows that. Heater inside there, fouled away. That was a quality pitch, Taylor.
Definitely. Nice pitch there. Batter got a hold of it, but just couldn't get enough of it to keep it inside. Definitely a dangerous situation here for both the batters coming up, if they manage to, and a dangerous situation for Ty up on the mound. A lot can go wrong with bases loaded and a full count with only one out.
Absolutely, and time gets called there. Tension mounting high in this cold, chilly night out here in West Texas, this bitter rivalry game between two incredibly talented high school teams really heating up here. 6-1 Bulldogs, but the Abilene High Eagles knocking at the door offensively. Full count. Briscoe misses inside, and a runner will come in, and Martin stirring in the dugout. He might go get his big lefty as the bases are juiced, and he calls time. Taylor, do you think he's going to give him the hook?
He just might, but I think Ty can be able to get everything under control. And I don't see anyone warming up in the bullpen so far, but it's really all going to depend if he wants to keep him, and it looks like he doesn't.
Yeah, Briscoe's going to get the hook here. So he had a great opening 2 innings, but then lost the handle of the fastball a little bit in the third. And it'll be interesting to see who Martin goes to on this incredibly deep team.
Definitely really tough for Ty there. It was going great for him, and he just couldn't get the control that he probably wanted in the bottom of the third here, walking so many guys and able to put 2 runs in just off walks.
Yep, and it'll be Graham Andrew, the senior. And he will do his best to try to excavate himself out of the mess that Briscoe has left him. Bases juiced, 1 out. And if you caught our broadcast against the Lubbock Monterey Plainsmen on Tuesday, we saw a similar thing occur where the starter left a couple inherited runners for the reliever to come in. And that game ended on the final play 3-2 after the inherited runners were allowed to score. So with Abilene High down 6-2 here, Wylie getting out of this inning is going to be a big win condition for them, because with the bases loaded, A-High has the tying run at the plate here.
Definitely, and only 1 out makes it really difficult situation for Wylie. Ty goes in to fill in for someone in the outfield.
Yep, so it's good to see him remain in the game with his big bat. Graham Andrew, the senior, employing sort of a sidewinding style. Expect to see lots of sliders from him. It's not quite Darren O'Day. You know, it's more like a Randy Johnson style delivery in terms of he's slinging it from that 3/4 angle. Another guy that comes to mind, the Candyman, John Candelaria of the 79 Pirates, employed a similar style.
Definitely. It's really interesting to see his pitching stance. Like his pitching stance, going to one of my favorite is a submarine style pitch.
Yes.
Very cool and interesting to see those. Really able to fool batters with that wind up and delivery, because it can get them looking for certain pitches that might not even be there.
Well, especially the righties. Some of those arm angles that you can attack a right-handed hitter with, it feels like the guy's throwing the ball like from behind your head.
Definitely. One of the hardest pitching stances to track from is the submarine, with one of my favorite pitchers who did submarine, Chad Bradford.
Chad Bradford, I knew you were going there. Loved watching him as a kid. The Moneyball A. I mean, this guy threw from such a low arm angle, his knuckles would touch the mound. Bradford, so fun to watch. We don't quite see that low from the senior as he slings a ball over the outside corner. That was a strike. Pardon me, 0-1 count. The umpire very deliberate, as we stated earlier.
Hugs just inside the box there. Puts him behind the count, 0-1. Bases loaded, 1 out.
Breaking pitch away, misses there. And for those curious about the production value of the stream, we had to strike our center field camera due to the constant inclement weather. The rain and mist were pretty constant out there, and we don't have a covering out there for the center field camera, so we're going to be using this angle for the rest of the broadcast as a ball is struck to right field, and the right fielder screaming over as it flies out of bounds into the bullpen. Foul ball.
Really unfortunate for him there. I'm sure Wylie would have liked to be able to grab that one and put 2 outs on the board to really put pressure on A-High. Unfortunately, he doesn't get a hold of it, and that batter gets to stay up. He is behind in the count, 1-2, so it'll be interesting to see what the pitcher goes for and what the batter tries to do.
Yeah, and that's the second ball this inning that has gone near the right field fence that was almost an out. That one just over the fence, the other one almost short-hopped it, as the senior slings a slider that is hit just off the edge of the bat. If that pitch even had a half-inch more of movement, it would have been a swing and a miss.
Definitely. Probably what he was looking for to do there. And it's really frustrating as a team to see it go foul like that, and you just can't get a hold of it, especially in this situation where they've tacked runs on to try and cut that deficit, and it's frustrating.
Absolutely. Well, it's a good job by the batter to stay alive there. A great move by him.
Definitely fighting to stay up in that box.
Strike 3. Burns him down, heater away. Great pitch.
Yeah, definitely a great delivery. Got him looking for that called strike. Brings up the next batter, who is still in a pretty good spot. Now, even though they're 2 outs, which will put decent pressure on them, the bases are loaded.
Yep. And Abilene High has gotten 2 runs in this inning, but they really want to continue to pressure the Wylie defense. They want to continue to do damage here. You do not want to waste bases loaded. A single here should score 2. Heater away, misses in the dirt.
Puts them up ahead in the count, 1-0. And it is relatively early in this game, only the bottom of the third. So definitely could go both ways for this game. There's still a lot of time left, and definitely more people they could turn to.
Absolutely. The senior comes set here at the 1-0 count. Fires a slider low and away. Back pick attempted. Almost got him. As the runner on first, number 32, had a significant lead and almost got picked off.
Definitely interesting to see. They're probably just trying to get in the pitcher's head, and it almost costed A-High this good spot that they're in right now.
Yeah, that would have been a crazy way to end that inning, man.
Definitely.
Bases loaded, 30-minute long inning, and he get picked off first with the bases loaded as a heater doesn't go, and the catcher turns around and says, hey, where'd that one miss? As it looked to me like a strike as well.
It's definitely really frustrating as a pitcher not getting calls to go your way, especially stuff that's that close.
Yep, that one was very close, but the ump has been calling a consistent game. And the senior sets, delivers. That one clips the inside part of the zone. The count 3-1 with 2 outs.
Now, it'll be interesting to see if the pitcher can manage to get strike 2 up and hopefully strike 3, or if it'll end up slipping to flashbacks of tie and it puts on another walk and cuts the deficit in half, 3-6.
Yep, and it does.
That one goes outside, brings another runner in. And now bases are still loaded, 2 outs, and the deficit that Wylie put up has been cut in half, 3-6.
Absolutely. And that's one of the toughest things about coming in with the bases juiced is you make a little mistake like that. You walk one guy, you hang a breaking pitch. Suddenly it's damage. It's not like coming into an inning clean or starting a game where you have room to maneuver. The Bulldogs desperately trying to fight their way out of this inning.
Definitely really tough there. And if I'm not mistaken, all runners who have scored and got on base have been from walks.
Control, certainly an issue for the Bulldogs in this inning. As the mist is starting to pick up here on this dreary night. Slider away, kicks away, wild pitch. A run comes home, and another one threatening. But as the ball careens up the third base line, he will be held. And the Abilene High Eagles score their 4th run of the inning.
Another blunder on Wylie's part, just nicked out of his glove, which is really unfortunate, and even puts him higher in the count, threatening to tie it. Now, there is no longer a runner on first, but there is 2 in scoring position on second and third.
Absolutely.
2 outs and ahead in the count, 1-0.
Tying run on second. And whenever you're a guy who throws sidearm, that slider has a tendency to almost go way out of control sometimes and can be a pitch where there's a lot of wild pitches.
Definitely. Batter called timeout there, probably get a little breather.
Foul ball.
Gets a piece of that one, unfortunately can't do much with it. Makes it foul ball, ties the count up 1-1, 2 outs, man on second and third.
Yep, still a very dangerous situation for the Bulldogs, as if one gets down, it could potentially tie the game. Something thought nearly unfathomable when it was 6-0.
And definitely a big thing, if he has a pop-up with this almost starting to get nasty weather out there, it could have a potential to where they just can't get a sight on the ball.
Absolutely. And as that one misses outside, that was something that we saw befall the Abilene High Eagles earlier in this game, where there was a pop-up around the pitcher's mound, and basically everyone converged on it and no one got it, a coach's nightmare.
Definitely. And I think the mist has a lot of things to do with all these wild pitches here. So the catchers just aren't able to get a hold onto the ball as much as they'd like to. And that pitch there is able to nab them.
Beautiful pitch there on the outside.
Definitely. Evens the count 2-2.
And to your point about the weather, we can see the pitcher taking his glove off to dry even his glove hand, so you can guess how wet that ball is, getting rolled around in the grass constantly. 2-2, 2 outs. Wylie desperately needing this out, and guess what? Timeout called by the batter.
Definitely really interesting to see, and especially with that mist getting heavier, it's harder for pitchers to lean on certain pitches they can throw due to the fact that they can't get as good of his hold on it, and it can lead to wild pitches, which lead to runs scored.
Absolutely. And a slider there, a little bleeder right back to the pitcher. He'll look to throw to first. Couldn't get it out of his glove. Airmails it into right field. The right fielder slips because of how wet the turf is. The second run scores. The batter runs to second. Nightmare mode here for the Wylie Bulldogs as it's 6-6.
And just like that, A-High has put up all the runs they needed to tie in one inning. And that's really tough for Wylie here, especially since that error committed really could have been an easy out there, and he just couldn't get a hold of it, which has turned pretty disastrous here, as this inning is just kept on getting worse and worse for Wylie.
Oh, yeah, and if you look at the vexing nature of this inning, it's absolutely brutal if you're a coach. You know, walk, wild pitch, walk, error, walk, bleeder. I mean, how many truly powerful, solid hits have Abilene High gotten in this staggering 6-run inning?
Not that many. It's mostly been up to pitching for them to get on base, and it's tough, especially because of the turf on the inside when bad weather can really make that slip. It is nice having grass in the outfield, but with how much mist is coming down, it can really make the grass slick, which is what happened out there when he slipped on it.
Absolutely, and you could see he even, whenever he went to field the ball, you could visibly see him lose the handle multiple times. So that's why he made that error, as he was having trouble gripping the ball. And if there's going to be a close play, there's a little bleeder, and you go to grab the ball and you can't get your initial grip, a lot of times when you make that throw, you're not going to have a solid grip established, and you're going to rush as a ball's hit right to the second baseman. This should be the end of the inning, and it is. So the Abilene High Eagles score a staggering 6 runs in the top of the third inning to tie the score at 6-6. This is Wylie Bulldog Baseball, powered by Taylor Electric Cooperative.
When First Financial Bank opened its doors in 1890, a relationship between a local community bank and a state was born. For more than 130 years, First Financial has grown alongside you, your family, your business, all while putting your goals first. From the ports to the plains. First Financial Bank, Weird, Texas.
Whether an organized team sport or walk around your neighborhood, Hendrick Clinic Bone and Joint, Action Sports Medicine, and Action Physical Therapy understand the importance of keeping your family moving. From diagnosis to recovery, our team of physicians, orthopedic surgeons, and physical therapists provide personalized care for sports injuries, joint pain, and more. With state-of-the-art technology and more than 40 years of experience, our team will get you back to what keeps you moving.
Searching for an internet provider for your home or business? Westex Connect is celebrating 20 years of providing fast, reliable wireless internet with products and services to meet the needs of both residential and business class. Westex Connect offers packages designed to meet your budget, so you can stream all your favorite music, movies, and shows and play the hottest games with fast, reliable in-home Wi-Fi. And Westex Connect is local, just a phone call away. Call 325-673-1930 or log on to WTConnect.com.
Wylie Bulldog Baseball returns, and the Bulldogs had quite the half inning last inning, as the sinker baller is still on the mound for A-High in this very weird game as we enter the bottom of the third inning here, tied 6-6. Wylie had a plethora of momentum after the first 2 innings, but Abilene High taking advantage of errors and walks to put up 6 runs. in the top of the third inning. So we're tied 6-6 here, Taylor.
It's really interesting to see it. I definitely think that's a good call with A-High sticking to their man for the sinker ball, for him to stay up, because he really hasn't done all too much to hurt his team. It's mostly been the rest of his defense, and it was really tough for Wylie to lose all that momentum, and they went from a pretty good first 2 innings to now on the outside looking in to hope try and get ahead. Definitely going to be some interesting stuff coming up.
Yeah, this is a very crucial half inning for Wylie as the sinker baller misses high for ball 1. And hey, like most really terrible innings, you've got to consider how that last one began. And it started so long ago you might have forgotten, but it was a nightmare inning. Guess how it started? With a walk. So it would be interesting to see Wylie get a walk here and try to pour it on from that perspective in their own regard.
Definitely. And one of the tough things that happened last inning was that bleeder that put the man on second and tied it up, which was really unfortunate because that could have been such an easy out, and he couldn't get a hold of it and just didn't make that great of a throw. It got past the first baseman and squeaked out to the outfield, which was tough, and it ended up tying him. Nice hit there, goes to the shortstop. He fields it, and it's in time.
Safe.
Oh.
He drop-seed it, or came off the bag. And the Abilene High crowd roars in consternation. As initially, timing-wise, he looked out, but I do think he lost the handle on it there as it was a bit of a low throw.
Definitely. Shortstop looked like he had a little bit of trouble fielding that. He looked set, and then all of a sudden he stopped a little, which I think it might have been him slipping on the turf, as it looks like it is getting a little slick out there. And he just blundered probably on that throw, made it low, and got him to pull off the bag.
And they changed the call, or they confirmed the call there, rather. It's safe.
That's going to be not exactly too tough for A-High, but it is just a little annoying. Could have been an easy out there, and it ends up putting a man on first, which is tough.
It is, however, better than a walk.
Definitely. I'd much rather have a man who accidentally got on first than a man who accidentally got on first and
Via
has
walk.
a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. As you see a pickoff attempt there occur. And, you know, it's interesting to me to consider sort of the pace of this game in terms of it looked like A-High starter wasn't really going to last that long, but now whenever the team was able to tie the game up, suddenly they can stick with their man. And as you pointed out, a lot of the runs were unearned, like silly errors, the weather really contributing to the sloppy nature of the game. So whenever we see this guy pitch, remember, he's a sinker baller, throws lots of two-seamers. Whenever guys are on base, having them in a position where they can be doubled off is very important. So the wild pitches that he struggled with earlier on in the game were a big reason why Wylie was able to do so much damage.
Definitely some of those wild pitches probably going to be accredited to the catcher who had some trouble getting a hold on it. And it's tough, you know, feeling like that and having all those things happen, and it's like you're alone out on that mound. And that pitcher is really starting to get paranoid with people who end up on first. Has already thrown over there twice. And with that one kind of getting away from him, it's going to set up ball 2 and put him ahead in the count 2-1.
Well, and whenever it comes to this pitcher specifically, he's had decent control with the two-seamer, but that overhand curveball he's really struggled with. Pretty much every overhand curveball he's thrown has ended up like that, sort of slips out of his hand and goes around the head area of the right-handed hitter. But he gets a heater by there to even the count.
Got him with a big swing and a miss, carried him out of the box. And definitely, I think some of the weather has a bit of credit to that, where it can be difficult to get certain holds on the ball so it doesn't go exactly as clean as you want it to, but that can also be dangerous because you have certain things that can happen where you might hit the batter or you put a wild pitch and that guy on first is suddenly standing there on second, and he throws back to first for another pickoff attempt. That's 3 times thus far. Getting really paranoid there.
Yep, certainly very worried about that runner. Sinker high.
Nice swing and a miss there. Puts up another strikeout.
Yep, good pitch by him.
Now at bat, third baseman Brady Clark.
Brady Clark coming up here for the Dogs.
That one a little high there, puts up ball one. Clark steps out.
Yep, checks the sign. The runner still on first as the mist is appearing to pick up even more rapidly with the wind. So again, that's why we're not watching from center field at the moment. High slider gets a swing and a miss.
Nice job by him there. Good pitch. Ties up the count 1-1.
Two-seamer low.
Puts him behind in the count 1-2. And runner on first tried to go for a fake out there. Probably did want to go and just didn't take off in time. But so far, he's had a consistent leadoff that's not too far. I think most of the reason why the pitcher has been thrown over there so much is he looks really loose, like he could either go both ways to sprint back to first in time or take off and try and get second.
Absolutely, and as the curveball misses again high there, you also have to consider he wants to keep him close because he's a sinker baller and knows that one of his main win conditions is having the batters that are on the bases not have empty bases behind them. He wants to always have the double play set up. He throws over again, and yet again it's safe.
And I think a big thing of what has to do with it, of why he's throwing back there so much, is it's kind of difficult to put enough faith that he's not going to go for it when you have your back turned to the guy.
Absolutely, and he peers over there again. Brings it home, sinker away, runner going, and the throw tailing badly to the right and into center field. The center fielder throws it over to third, and the runner advances successfully to third base. Great steal there by the Bulldogs.
Looked like it just rolled out of the catcher's hand there. It was a bad throw, tailed off from where he wanted it to be. Could have been a nice out there and would have put up two, but he couldn't get there in time. It ended up rolling out to the outfield, and it looked like the runner slipped a little bit on the turf.
Yeah, well, if we consider the weather of this game, it's one of the main and most important factors, especially when you consider how the game has actually occurred and played out, not just on like a theoretical level of, okay, the weather will be an issue. No, essentially each team is continuing to put the pressure on. Even the most mundane defensive plays are difficult in this weather. Pitchers are struggling with command. Catchers are struggling with letting the ball get by. This is a sloppy game being played in mist, in rain.
Nice one, nice pitch delivery there with a full count. Got him swinging and was able to punch him out. Put 2 outs on the board with the man on third, which could bring in the go-ahead run.
Yep, and here's the junior Regalo, the freshman, the 9th place hitter. We saw him successfully lay down a sacrifice bunt last time he hit.
And I think what makes it really difficult for steals in this game is because of the turf and the weather, it makes it hard to cut back or go forward, which could end up disastrous if you can't get enough traction and you end up slipping a little bit.
That's a great point. Two-seamer there misses high.
That'll even the count at 1-1.
Two-seamer gets called a strike inside part of the plate.
That'll put him behind in the count 1-2. And it looked like the runner thought about going for it there, but he goes back, decides to play it safe.
Yeah, probably the right decision considering he was on third. The pitch here right down the middle, and the junior Regala gets struck out. The Bulldogs unable to answer the massive third inning. So we are going to go into commercial break here. This is Wylie Bulldogs baseball powered by Taylor Electric Cooperative.
Ever wonder how football is like real estate?
The huddle. We call this the pregame, where we meet to explain the process. The fumble. This is why you hire us, so you don't fumble across horrible service. The visiting team. It's negotiating time. The blitz. We blast your home to over 300 sites and have a detailed marketing plan. And finally, the end zone celebration, aka closing day and the big win. So when you know someone looking to get in the game, send them our way. The Brandy Smith team at RE/MAX has been on top of our game since 2008, thanks to all our amazing past clients and referrals.
The hunger to win is fueled by a chance to compete and the thrill of the action. The cheers from the crowd energize our team and push them on to victory. Whether it's the pre-game excitement of tailgating or the post-game euphoria of winning celebrations, Market Street always brings an A-game to your party. From kickoff to tip-off and the final buzzer to the last out, Market Street is proud to feed the competitive spirit.
Wylie Bulldog Baseball returns. Wylie Singleton here with Taylor Waddell and Ace Harper on production. This has been an incredibly exciting game so far. The Bulldogs jumped out to a 6-0 lead with 3 runs in the first and 3 runs in the second. Abilene High took advantage of a litany of walks and errors to score 6 runs in the top of the third. That's where it's 6 at the current moment, 6-6 at the top of the 4th inning. Taylor, what have you thought about this game so far?
It's been really interesting on both sides for A-High and Wylie. Numerous wild pitches, numerous mistakes, some pretty interesting at-bats. But all in all, it is tied up 6-6 at the top of the 4th.
Absolutely. And the same pitcher, Graham Andrew, the side-arming right-hander, is going to continue to work here. Damian Martinez leading off for A-High here. And the lefty will get a solid look at the arm angle here of the Wylie pitcher.
Definitely. And if he doesn't happen to make on base, he can definitely say a few words to the guy who's coming up.
Absolutely. Guys with these weird arm angles, intel is more important than a guy who's just throwing absolute smoke. And a drag bunt is attempted there, and it's a beaut! They're going to try to let it roll foul, and it doesn't. A textbook drag bunt, exceptional play.
That was definitely a beautiful job at the bunt. They really shouldn't have let that one go. And now there's a runner on first by a relatively dumb mistake on Wylie's part.
Well, I don't even know if it was so much of a mistake in the sense that if they had fielded that aggressively, the guy was so fast and had such a good jump, I think he would have been safe anyway. In fact, even though that ball remained fair, I don't consider that a mistake because I think he would have been safe regardless. So just all the credit in the world to that leadoff hitter, man. What a great play from him. I wonder if we'll see the bunt here in a 1-run game. We saw the bunt when they were down 6-0 be shown. So with the guy with speed on first, I wouldn't put it past him at all to put the bunt on here.
Definitely similar to the speed of the 77 Yankees, having that quick runoff guy for your leadoff bat.
Yep, like Mickey Rivers and Willie Randolph.
Definitely.
As a foul ball gets slapped there.
And what was interesting for it is he brought in that next batter, guy on first, and it has a big opportunity here because now maybe if he gets a nice little hold of that one, he can bring him in scoring position and maybe go for a go-ahead run.
Absolutely. And whenever a game opens 6-0 and then sort of weirdly swings back 6-6 in 1/2 inning, strike on the inside corner there, the dynamics and the momentum is so weird because we're sitting here in this windy, misty game. The defenses are really struggling. The players are struggling to consistently get a handle on the ball. And this game has turned into a messy game, scrappy game, some would call it, as the senior peers in, slings it and it's in the other batter's box as he's trying to stay away from his opponent.
Really had to reach for that one, and that was almost a wild pitch, which we've seen quite a few of those so far in this game.
Yeah, and you can imagine after you throw a wild pitch, getting the ball back soaked in water. It's not exactly conducive to controlling your next pitch.
Yeah, really not so great.
And speaking of not controlling your next pitch, that one slips out of his hand and drills his opponent right in the rib cage. And again, that's a very obvious mistake. No intent behind that. He's missing way outside. It slips out of his hand. He misses inside. Expect this game to be very high scoring, and expect this game to be a tooth and nail affair as we see the sidewinding right-hander pulled in favor of number 19, Jake Bearden, the junior.
Yeah. Captain Hook went and pulled the sidewinder.
Yeah, and you could see his control starting to fade. And in my opinion, whenever you're in these situations where the weather is just absolutely terrible and it's cold, you should be more willing to bring in a new arm. Whenever it's very cold and wet and damp, that's harder on a pitcher having to stop and start. So I love the fact that they're going to bring in this young, exciting arm, Jake Bearden. And this junior is getting the ball up there with some life, but he's also showing great control in the warm-up, which is not something that we've seen today necessarily from everyone.
Which would really be good for Wylie here, especially since they've had a little bit of control problems, and he's keeping it pretty consistent in where he's placing his pitches. And the real big thing for that batter standing outside looking in is Jake Bearden's throwing pretty hard.
Yep. The young righty peers in. Looks to be almost all heat. Sometimes whenever the guys are warming up, they'll show off a breaking pitch. You can sort of see, okay, is it curve? Is it slider? You have something crazy like split, but seem to be mostly heat. And I think that a lot of this game is going to come down to limiting walks and limiting errors. They've been the main two contributing factors in this game so far. However, I think limiting them for the rest of the game is going to be the main determining factor to see who wins, because the mist and the rain is just unrelenting. And it was unrelenting to the point where we had to strike our center field camera.
Really tough. And it's kind of cool to see how Jake is pitching, especially with the way on how fast his arm is flicking. That's a little bloop hit down to the third baseman.
And safe at first, but the third baseman steps on third and gets the out. So intelligent play by him, and good job to not let that one dribble off into the outfield.
Definitely nice field by him there, and it's good to see that. Not exactly going for extremely aggressive here, just trying to keep it to make sure everything stays in check. Only one out on the board. Room for it to possibly get away from them, but they are in a semi-comfortable position with only one runner in a scoring position.
Yeah, runners on first and second, one out here, 0-0 count. The game's still tied at 6, and the junior is going to peer in and see what he can accomplish. Looks back at the runner, fires it, and it's smoked past the third baseman to the left fielder, who's going to throw to the cutoff man, and it lollipops out of his hand. Again, the wet conditions being a tremendous factor, as that was a ball that was going to be an RBI single and just comedically banana peeled out of the hand of the left fielder. The conditions becoming wetter than Atlantis down there, Taylor.
Really, I mean, that's really tough for Wylie. Could have been possibly an out had the third baseman been a tiny bit more aggressive, but he thought he'd let it go to maybe get an easy out there with the outfielder, but it just slipped out of his hand, and it's starting to show just how tough this weather is getting for him.
Yeah, and that's one of those spots where if you're the left fielder, you know that guy that was on second is wheeling around trying to test you and go home, and you attempt to come up firing with everything you have, and the water just makes everything so difficult. Wylie, who is a tremendously fundamentally sound team and a well-coached team, has looked out of sorts this game, but as has A High. These are two teams that are very clearly dealing with the elements, and if this game was played 75 degrees with no precipitation, probably looks completely different. almost down to every single pitch in terms of the weather has really affected the control severely for both of these squads.
Really could be a whole nother story if the weather was different. A-High did have that go-ahead run come in, putting them up 7-6 as they claim the lead for the first time in the game so far. With a runner in scoring position on third, they're taking a little bit of time to talk here.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me. 2 runners in scoring position as man's.
Yep, second and third. No one on first, though, with 1 out. And that was one of those things where when the left fielder fielded the ball, you can throw to the cutoff man, and it'll be first and second for sure. You can risk throwing home and then potentially advancing. But when the ball slips out of his hand like that, it's the worst of both worlds. The guy scores for sure, and the runners advance. And we bring this up a lot whenever it comes to the A-High pitcher because he's a sinker baller. But again, not having that force out on first base is a big deal. Not being able to go to second for an out, step on third for an out, that's big. That makes your win conditions different. That makes your ability to get out of the innings different. And whenever there's so much moisture and precipitation, you're putting yourself in a spot where, well, it's very hard to get traditional outs, and you can't necessarily count on getting those automatic outs.
It really is, and a great example of just how bad the weather's getting out there for the players was a little warm-up throw that was lightly tossed over the third, and it just was able to get by him and roll out into the outfield where he had to go grab it.
Yep. And a significant time delay here on Friday night. Yeah, guys on the phone here. Perhaps they're asking if the game is
be getting a delay maybe.
Well, why?
Who knows?
Hopefully postponed to another date if they're going to do that. But I don't know. Make a decision here, fellas. Either call the game or let's keep playing, but let's not stand around and let the boys go cold.
Which is tough for players on either side for sitting so long, and with it being windy and chilly and raining, it's just all things that you really don't want to feel. And especially if one team was having momentum and it suddenly gets shut down by a stop like this, it can be hard for either sides to get that ball rolling again. And it's like starting from ground zero pretty much.
Yeah, well, and there's also the weird element of players. We're sort of in the middle of an inning, and a game that was 6-0 and then 6-6 is now 7-6 in favor of the team that was down 0-6. But in this fourth inning, Wylie hasn't had their opportunity to bat. So with more people talking on the phone at midfield, presumably they're discussing some sort of postponement or delay. Now in baseball, if there's a weather delay, that and only one team has batted, that half inning is erased. So if they call the game here, it would be a 6-6 tie at the end of third, and presumably they would pick up play in the top of the fourth, tied 6-6 at a later date. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that when you have both skippers out here on the field and the writing's on the wall as far as the quality of play that we're going to see, both of these skippers are probably looking to end this game. This being the last game before spring break, okay? This being a game where it continues to rain, and we saw the absurd play in left field. That would never, ever happen on a dry day. These are two of the best teams in district and in Texas, and we've seen them boot the ball around and lose the handle on the ball all day long. These are very trying conditions for these young athletes to play in, and the coaches might be considering the possible implications of a health risk.
Yeah, very true here, especially with how cold it's getting to come down to. And the big thing is this game does get postponed to a later date. One of the big advantages of that is if pitchers for either sides of the team who are on rest and our aces have a chance to come in and could really turn the tides of this.
Yeah, and something that is not very frequently considered that I think is sort of interesting with this game specifically is like, you have such a weird vibe of a game. You're up 6-0, it's tied. Almost none of the runs are earned. It would be very weird to like pick this up in a week during the day when it's sunny and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that 6-6 game we played like 14 days ago. Now it's a completely different vibe and feel. And lots of warm-up jackets are on here. The coach is having an extended conversation with the umps. And whenever a delay occurs that lasts this long, one has to really wonder, are they going to play ball after this? Would they really delay like 20 minutes like this and let everyone get cold and then...
Handshakes are out.
Yeah, I think a GG is called and we're going to get a postponement. As the two skippers here are probably concerned about the health of their extremely talented young athletes.
And maybe also looking for an advantage with that post moment for a better day to play this on.
Yeah, for both. And it's not like one team is favored in the weather and one's not. These guys realize we're S-class hitters, some of the best teams in the league, and do we really want a guy to get hurt playing in the muck, playing in the rain and the uncomfortability? The game will be resumed in this current spot on Monday. The game is going to be resumed on Monday. So that's the game. It's going to be 6-6.
7-6.
Yeah, so since that half inning occurred, that 1-1 will be struck and they'll pick it up 6-6 in the top of the fourth. So as the rainy, dreary weather really ate into this game, what you've got to understand, Taylor, is that both of these teams played in a way that doesn't really represent their actual skill. And this was one of those almost weird weather bowl-like games as we as the AV crew were not even able to use our full camera setups for this one.
For sure. And it'll be a lot better to see them working in conditions that they're used to. But games like this in weather such as this can really make for interesting games, as this definitely was a part of one, with the first two innings, Wylie dropping the 3 runs each and then having nothing in the third, but A-High coming in and tying it up 6 in the third for them to pull ahead in this one to make it 7-6, but since it's having that resume, it's going to get erased, which has to be tough for A-High considering how hard they've worked, and especially in these conditions.
Yeah, well, at least this one didn't get called in the middle of the third, and those 6 runs didn't get erased. But we are going to sign off here and wish you guys a happy spring break. I want to give a big ups to my entire AV team, Ace Harper, the legend here, the freshman, withering away out in center field. Ace was on production this game. You're a sophomore. Well, tell the audience your name, son. Jaden was out on center field, and Jaden was doing his best, but in the rain, it was much like the infield play where the weather can be prohibitive, and we had to stick to the wide shot for this one. In the future, we're going to be looking to get that center field cam out in perpetuity. Of course, Taylor Waddell and Darian Hawkins also on the show. Big ups to everyone who watched, and the lag issues will be fixed in the future. Thank you to our brave sponsors, as well as Andy Penny and Joey Light, 2 incredible people. Make sure to sub to the stream. Have a good night.